So picture this. Your phone rings, you pick up, and there's this calm voice saying, "We're calling from Google support. We've detected some suspicious activity on your account." Then, just a few minutes later, another call. This time, it's supposedly from the crypto exchange where you keep your Bitcoin. And this voice? "To verify that you are the rightful owner, we need to see your screen." And there you are, a trusting crypto user, sharing your screen. You don't know it yet, but right at that moment, someone's buying a Ferrari with your money. And the craziest part was that this wasn't some hacker out of a Hollywood movie. He pulled off one of the biggest crypto heists in US history. 2 phone calls, 1 share screen, click, and 4,100 Bitcoin just changed hands. And that, my friend, was only the intro. It gets way crazier from here. So who is this Malon Lam? He's 20, lives in California, looks like, well, like your average Reddit guy. An iPhone, a hoodie, worn out sneakers. Harmless, right? But here's the catch. The guy knows how people think, and he knows phishing. Not the amateur kind, like, "Hey, send me your code." No, we're talking full-blown production, a script, voices, calls, rehearsed to the millisecond. Now rewind. The victim in this story? Just one man, an investor, a client of the crypto exchange Gemini. And on his wallet, 4,100 Bitcoin, which at the time was worth over $230 million. Yep, one wallet, one person. And Malone, he knows this, and he's about to make his move. First comes the Google call, and it's like something out of a screenplay. Suspicious activity, security check. No pressure, just a little tension, a hint of risk. You know, the setup before the stress kicks in. And just when the guy's still thinking, wait, is something actually wrong? The second call hits. Now it's Gemini. Different voice. Even more serious. Even more technical. "We're reviewing your account. To verify ownership, please show your screen with the private key." And that's the moment where everything unravels. The guy, still thinking this is just protocol, shares his screen. Right there, in full view, are the private keys. And on the other end, Malone is watching and smiling. Because right there, he's got full access to a $230 million wallet. No hacks, no malware, just trust and a fake voice. And the wildest part? The whole thing took less time than cooking pasta. Right after Malone pulls off the scam, he jumps into a video chat with his crew. It's not an official celebration, more like an emotional outburst. Everyone's still hyped, barely believing it actually worked. "Holy!" one shouts. "I'm losing my mind," yells another. "Did you see how much we have now?" The third nearly jumps, and all of it recorded. Someone hit rec. Why? Probably to capture the success moment. But spoiler, that recording becomes the main piece of evidence against Malone in court. Hello, dumbest mistake of the year. Then comes the classic move, laundering. But not with detergent. He starts washing the crypto. No conversions to dollars, no bank accounts, no cash in envelopes. He funnels the bitcoins through mixers, services that break down, shuffle, and mask the origin of coins. Malone moves some to foreign exchanges, others through anonymous wallets. He does everything to make tracking the money as boring as possible, even for seasoned investigators. But there's one but. It's blockchain, bro. The whole story, public, just scattered across thousands of transactions. Even if they're moving millions, doing everything right by the scheme, one thing remains, the video, with faces, with reactions, with evidence. And it's already stored somewhere, waiting for its star moment in court. And that's where things start to go wild. Malone suddenly becomes, well, officially, the richest guy in his whole neighborhood. But instead of keeping a low profile, he totally loses it. He doesn't just spend, he spends like he's trying to win some kind of challenge. Who can blow through $200 million the fastest? It starts with clothes, not just t-shirts and sneakers, no. He buys glasses with diamonds embedded in the frame. Then come the private jets, trips to Miami, LA, New York. Not alone, of course. He takes the whole crew, like he's some breakout rap star. The house? He rents a waterfront villa in Miami, $68,000 a month, no joke. He pays more in rent than the average American makes in a year. We're talking pool, palm trees, floor-to-ceiling windows. The whole thing looks like a Drake music video. And then the real madness hits. The cars. He buys more than 30 luxury cars. Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens, Bentleys. One of the Lambos he painted with his own name on the side. Like he's a video game character, but in real life. And the clubs, he's instantly recognizable. Because Malone drops anywhere between $100,000 to $500,000 a night. No exaggeration. These checks are real. Champagne, VIP lounges, fog machines, LED screens with his name lit up. Malone is in the building. And the tips? $2,000. Just for saying thanks for the good night. Sometimes he even tips in alcohol. One bartender said Malone handed him several sealed bottles of high-end liquor every single night. And of course, the women. He doesn't just flirt. He buys them Birkin bags, $50,000 each. Just hands them out at clubs. Hey, this is for you. But there was one car that didn't quite fit the pattern. One that wasn't for him. Malone fell in love with one girl, for real hard. And to impress her, he bought her a car worth $250,000. No special occasion and no speech. Just here. She said no. And while all this madness is going on, Malone still thinks he's invisible. Because, well, crypto, mixers, anonymity, right? But he forgot one thing. His Instagram is public. And that video from the chat? It's out there, floating around. And right now, someone's watching, putting all the pieces together. While Malone and his crew were living it up in Elon Musk mode, somewhere else on the internet, an alarm went off. Not the police. Not an exchange. Not some secret agent in a basement. It was Zach XBT. And honestly, he's a legend in the crypto community. They call him the on-chain detective. He has over 740,000 followers on Twitter. But more importantly, he has a personal motive. Once, he himself was scammed out of $15,000 in crypto. And since then, he's been on a mission. He creates threads, exposes fake NFT projects, and shows where tokens disappear when their creators vanish from chats. Then, in October 2022, Zach received a notification. A very strange transaction had occurred on the blockchain. The amount, massive. The addresses, suspicious. And more importantly, there were many such transfers, all leading into the shadows. And he began to pull the thread. One wallet, another, a third, a 15th. And all of them, though masked by mixers, had one thing in common. They led to Malone's lifestyle. Zach found some guy's Instagram, and he looked. Champagne, yachts, cars, designer clothes, private jets, a different city, every day. Zach paused, took a closer look, checked the activity, and you know what he saw? The same Malone. Then, fate handed him another gift. Someone, either from Malone's crew or just an acquaintance, sent Zach XBT that same video chat recording. The one where the guys were still hyped, still shouting, "I'm going crazy." Zach just smiled, because the puzzle had come together. Now he had everything. And he did what he had to do. He handed it all over to the FBI. Malone was confident he'd done everything right. Used mixers, scattered bitcoins across dozens of addresses, made purchases through anonymous wallets, and most importantly, he looked like someone who made a fortune in crypto, not someone who stole $250 million. Malone continued living his life. Likes, parties, lunches in restaurants with white tablecloths. He probably didn't even imagine that his path had already been retraced, and that someone had already shown the FBI a complete map of where and how the money flowed. And then, the door. Not metaphorically, literally, the door. FBI special agents appeared at his doorstep, and it no longer mattered how many Rolexes he had, and it didn't matter how many bottles of champagne he'd opened in clubs. He was no longer Malone the crypto boss. Now he was the subject of a federal case. The charges are serious, the documents public. He's at the center of a case involving the theft of 4,100 bitcoins. The FBI has everything: the video chat recording where he and his friends incriminate themselves, wallet addresses, screenshots from Instagram, and the entire transaction history mapped out in graphs compiled by a guy named Zach XBT. The trial hasn't happened yet. Malone is waiting, and we're all waiting with him. The irony is that Malone hacked the system and then posted it all on Instagram. His first crime? Theft. His second? Lack of restraint. As the classic said, don't record a crime if you don't want to star in the movie. But if he's very lucky, then Netflix will make a series about it. And you know what the title is already? Too Young, Too Rich, Too Dumb. Enjoyed this story? Leave a like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. Now you know